Frequently, we hear clients telling us that their category visions are failing to stick in their business. Maybe they're struggling to gain the traction that they want with customers, or maybe it's not having the role within the business that it's meant to really act as a glue that sticks sales and marketing together. So why are these category visions failing? Well, all too often what we see is data-driven, overcomplicated exercises which only live in the function in which they've created. They're not acting as the cohesion that should be pulling sales and marketing together. They're often even at odds to commercial strategies, which actually just adds attention in the business. They might not be included in internal processes, which means that they don't have a real formal role within a business. And often the value is questioned. So we've all seen the big number at the top of the category presentation that's rolled out once a year to businesses as part of a selling story. But how often do we go back and track the value that the category strategy is adding? How often do we see a lovely picture at the end of a presentation, but we never actually go and see that picture in store, actually coming to life at the point of purchase? Category visions have become an external selling story and not really the internal strategy that they should also be. At the same time, there's been an external change, so we've seen more complex channels than ever before. We see savvier shoppers than ever before. We see retailers starting to hold suppliers more at arm's length. Shopper and trade need to be considered from the very beginning alongside consumer in internal strategies in order to mean that when you get it to the customer story, actually you've already got a compelling story, the sell becomes easier and the launch becomes more successful. At OxfordSM, our category growth strategy is based on 4 key criteria. Number 1, we believe in real transparency about the fact that categories grow through brands. For too long, category has just been about growing the category, but actually, unless suppliers are going to grow their own brands as well, they're not going to be bought into it. So if we are creating joint growth, then we'll get real buy-in from both retailers and suppliers, and that's what we need to drive the growth. Secondly, category growth strategies need to be as internal as they are external. If your commercial, brand and category strategies are all built on the same shopper, channel and consumer insight, then you'll get a stronger proposition overall. And more so, it will really act as this adhesion to give sales and marketing functions the same goal to get behind and just make everything align better. Thirdly, we consider the real world from the start. And part of this is about getting people out into the trade, into the market, understanding their consumers, their shoppers, understanding what makes their customers tick, and building that in. And that's the stuff that data really cannot tell us. And also making sure that we are considering real business priorities. What's the commercial reality that business is working in? What are the things that just have to happen? Because unless we're doing that, it won't feel like a strategy that is really owned by that business as opposed to someone else. And finally, we need to make sure that the growth opportunities we identify are creative and ambitious, but also realistic and practical. So instead of just being a nice picture at the end of a customer presentation, they need to be something that the teams really believe that they can go out and deliver tomorrow, that excites them, that they can really get behind. Only that way will we be able to drive real category growth.